In this video, we're going to explore how to use Pokee AI to automate your social media content, from generating platform-specific posts to publishing them directly across Instagram, LinkedIn, X, and more with AI agents. And I'm going to walk you through the authentication process and show you how to connect apps, build a reproducible workflow, and then have everything run in the background fully automated. And the great thing about Pokee is that it lets you combine all of these tools into one seamless workflow. You can use it to automatically draft social posts, generate reports, summarize communications, or even push updates to your team in Slack without needing to switch between apps. And once your workflow is built and authenticated, you can reuse it anytime, customize it for different tasks, and even schedule it to run automatically. And by the end of this video, you'll have a fully automated workflow that saves you hours every week while keeping your brand consistent across platforms. So what is Pokee AI? Now, if you're brand new to Pokee AI and asking yourself, what is it? Let me give you a quick overview. So Pokee AI is an intelligent assistant that turns text prompts into automated workflows, helping you complete tasks faster and more efficiently. Think of it as your digital operations teammate. It can schedule meetings, write emails, draft social posts and post them, and even create to-do lists based on your last meeting notes. And it connects directly with apps like Instagram, LinkedIn, Gmail, Google Calendar, ClickUp, and many, many more, letting you automate everything from content creation to publishing in one central hub. In short, Pokee brings your creative tools, project management apps, and social media accounts, allowing you to design a consistent, reproducible automation workflow that runs on its own. So on that note, let me show you how to get started with Pokee AI automation. First things first, if you haven't done so already, you'll want to sign up for a Pokee AI account. Simply visit the link in the video description below and that'll take you to Pokee AI's homepage, which you're looking at right now. Then click the sign up button in the upper right corner and you can connect a Google account or create a free account with an email address and password. And you can get started with Pokee AI for free, but they also offer a few paid plans that give you more flexibility and higher limits depending on your needs. So whether you're just experimenting with automation or managing full production workflows, there's a plan that will fit your needs. I should also point out that there's this little credit slider where you could essentially build out your own plan by selecting a custom amount of credits per month. However, keep an eye on the credit amount and which plan you're being assigned. The price per month will vary depending on the number of credits. Then finally, you do have the option to pay for an annual plan instead of month to month. The annual plans have a lower monthly rate, but you're paying a lump sum upfront for the entire year. Okay, then after you've created your account and logged in, this is what your dashboard will look like. And if this is your first time here, let me give you a quick tour. First, in the middle of the screen, you'll see some pre-built automation templates ready for you to use. Things like scheduling a team meeting, drafting stakeholder emails, creating Instagram posts, and so much more. Each card also shows what apps it connects to, so you can instantly see where your automation will run. What's great about these pre-built templates is that they're designed to save you time right from the start. Instead of building a workflow from scratch, you could choose a ready-made task and customize it for your needs. Then, if you want full control, you can also type your own custom task in the prompt box below, and Pokee will build a workflow around your request. You could also upload images and files to reference in your prompt by clicking this icon in the lower left corner. Then in the lower right corner, there's a request approval switch. By default, it's turned on, and this means that before Pokee executes any task, it will first send it to you for review. This is helpful because it gives you a final layer of control, allowing you to catch errors, make quick edits, or adjust tone or timing before anything gets published or sent out. Next, we have apps that Pokee works with, and clicking on that opens a full list of all the platforms and tools that you could connect to Pokee. This is where you'll see just how powerful and flexible the system really is. Pokee integrates with dozens of apps across categories like social media and content, communication and scheduling, productivity and product management, and even media and creative tools. You can connect platforms like Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, and YouTube to automate your publishing or integrate tools like Google Docs, Notion, Google Calendars, and more to manage your content pipeline. And whether you're automating posts, syncing calendars, or generating creative assets, this section is where you'll discover all the integrations available to power your workflows. Then let's take a look at the sidebar on the left-hand side of the screen. This is your main navigation panel inside Pokee AI. At the very top, you'll see the Pokee AI logo, and clicking on that will bring you back to this interface. And then right below that, a new chat button. This is where you could start a brand new workflow or delegation task. And think of it like opening a new conversation with Pokee to tell it what you want automated, whether it's drafting posts, sending updates, or scheduling a meeting. Below that, you'll see two key sections, workflows and authentications. At the moment, there may be some updates where you might see some additional options here, but for right now, it's workflows and authentications as of November 2025. And the workflow section is where all your active automations live. You can view, edit, and manage the workflows that you've already created or save templates to reuse later. The authentication section is where you manage all of the connected apps, such as Instagram, Google Docs, Gmail, Slack, etc. This is where you'll go if you need to connect a new platform or reauthorize an existing one. Then underneath that, there's a chats section, and it shows you your recent activity, including previous commands or automated tasks. And you can click on any of these to reopen that workflow and continue right where you left off. Then at the very bottom of the sidebar, you'll see your account information, including your plan type and credit balance, which is helpful for tracking usage or managing your account. All right, now that you know your way around, let's create our first automated workflow with Pokee AI. Before we create our automated workflow, I want to quickly show you a few ways to authenticate your apps. You can either connect and authenticate them here from the dashboard, or you could do it as you're building your workflows. It really comes down to personal preference, and to be honest, it's a lot easier to just authenticate your apps as you go, but I thought it was helpful to know additional ways to go about this. So from the sidebar on the left-hand side of the screen, click on the Authentications tab, and this will open the authorizations page where you'll see a full list of apps that can be connected to Pokee. They're organized into categories like social media, communication and collaboration, Google Workspace, etc. And under social media, you'll find platforms like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, X, and so on. And you'll notice that each one has a connect button next to it. So for this particular example, we're going to connect X and LinkedIn. And connecting those social networks allows Pokee to automatically generate and publish posts directly to my X and LinkedIn accounts simultaneously. And this makes it easy to create and schedule content without having to log in or post manually each day. And I'll show you how to authenticate X here within this menu, and then we'll authenticate LinkedIn as we're building the automation so you could see both workflows. Okay, first, when you click Connect with X, a pop-up window will appear asking for permission to access your account. You'll see a message that says, Pokee AI wants to access your X account. Simply click Authorize App, and once the connection is successful, it'll show up under the Authorize section at the top of the screen. And once your account is authenticated, Pokee will be ready to build and run your automated workflow. And like I said, we still need to authenticate LinkedIn, but I'll show you how to do that in just a bit. So when you're finished, click the Pokee AI logo in the upper left corner to return to the main dashboard. And from here, we'll move on to creating our workflow that will automatically generate, schedule, and post our content. So as we went over in the intro, you can use one of Pokee AI's pre-made templates to streamline the automation creation process. However, it's also extremely easy to make your own by simply typing out what you want in the prompt field. This is one of the most powerful features of Pokee. It understands natural language commands and automatically builds the workflow around your request. And in this example, I'm going to type create a post promoting this YouTube video on my X and LinkedIn accounts. And I'll include the link to the YouTube video in this prompt as well. And once I hit enter, Pokee immediately starts processing the command. You'll see it say understanding your query as it interprets what you're asking for, and behind the scenes it's mapping out each step required to complete the task. Next, Pokee asks a few clarifying questions to make sure the posts are optimized for each platform. It asks me about the tone, whether there are any hashtags or accounts we want to include, and if the content should be identical or unique across both platforms. This is a great example of how Pokee doesn't just follow instructions, it collaborates with you to make sure the workflow produces the exact result that you need. So I'm going to respond with a few details here. I want the tone to be professional, and then I'll let Pokee decide on relevant hashtags, and then I want the content to be different for X and LinkedIn. And then I'll send that through. And Pokee will begin to confirm my preferences and outlines the plan that it's about to build. And it'll analyze the YouTube video to understand its content, craft a professional post tailored for LinkedIn, generate another unique post for X, and then publish each one to its respective platform. Finally, I'm going to add one more instruction asking Pokee to include the YouTube link directly in the post so that viewers can easily watch the video. And then once I send that through, Pokee begins generating the workflow based on all of the confirmed details. Now, this understanding the query took about 30 seconds or so, but when it finished, we're taken to the workflow interface. On the left is the chat, and here you'll not only see some of the tasks being taken to create the workflow, but you can also communicate with the AI to edit or refine your work if needed. Then taking a closer look at the workflow setup, you'll see how Pokee intelligently breaks the process down into individual steps. At the top of the workflow, you'll see the workflow inputs section. This is where all your key variables for your automation are stored. In this example, there are two. The post tone, which determines the overall voice of your content, and in this case, professional, and then the YouTube video URL, which is the specific video being promoted. These inputs are fully editable, so if you ever want to repurpose this same workflow for a different video or adjust the tone to match your campaign, you can easily update these fields without rebuilding the entire automation. This is part of what makes Pokee's workflows so reproducible. You could plug in new variables, rerun the flow, and instantly generate new outputs, which we'll do in just a bit. Then as we scroll down, Pokee automatically sequences each step. It starts by extracting the video ID from the URL, then retrieves the transcript of that video and uses that transcript to analyze and summarize the content. Then from there, it drafts a unique professional LinkedIn post that includes the video link and adds relevant hashtags. And then if you click that little arrow next to the task, you'll see that Pokee also creates a second version of the post for X. This one's optimized for that platform's shorter format, but still professional and linked back to the video. Finally, the workflow ends with Pokee publishing both posts directly to your connected LinkedIn and X accounts, all in one go. And then at the bottom, under Workflow Results, if you click on it to expand it, you'll see the expected output fields. And these are the URLs for both published posts. So once the automation runs, you can immediately view the LinkedIn and X posts here without needing to leave Pokee. Then if we shift our focus to the toolbar there towards the bottom of the page, this section gives you full control over how your workflow runs. Starting on the left, there is the Require Approval toggle, and when this is turned on, Pokee will pause at key steps in your workflow so you can review and approve each output before it moves forward. This is perfect if you want to double-check AI-generated content before it's posted or sent out. Next is the Run button, which executes the workflow instantly based on your current setup. And then once you click this, Pokee will move through each task in the sequence, from analyzing the YouTube video to drafting the posts and publishing them. Then to the right, you'll find the Schedule option. This allows you to set your workflow to run automatically at specific times, whether that's daily, weekly, or whenever new content drops. It's a great option if you want to automate recurring posts or content promotions. And then finally, the API button lets you create an API endpoint for your workflow. This means you can connect Pokee to other apps, systems, or automation tools and trigger the workflow externally, making it incredibly versatile for large-scale content strategies or team-based operations. And speaking of scheduling, Pokee makes it incredibly easy to automate your workflows on a set timeline. And by clicking the schedule icon, you can open the scheduling menu and set up your workflow to run automatically, whether it's daily, weekly, or just once. And here you could give your schedule a custom name like promote YouTube videos on X and LinkedIn, and even add a short description to keep things organized if you're managing multiple automations. Then just below that, you'll see your workflow inputs again. This is a great feature because it lets you review or update your variables before scheduling. For instance, you could change the YouTube link or the tone of your posts without having to rebuild the workflow from scratch. From there, you could choose your scheduling configuration. The natural language option allows you to simply type something like run every weekday at 9 a.m. or run every 2 hours during business hours, and Pokee will handle the rest. Or if you prefer more control, you could switch to the once or weekly tabs to manually set exact dates, times, and days for your workflow to execute, ensuring your YouTube videos, blog promotions, or campaign announcements go live exactly when you want them to without needing to really lift a finger. Okay, with that being said, whenever you're ready, it's time to run the workflow. So you can click either one of those run buttons and Pokee immediately prepares the automation and confirms that everything is ready to execute. And since we already approved and authenticated X, Pokee recognizes that LinkedIn still needs to be authenticated. And this is what I'm referring to whenever I said that you don't need to authenticate apps prior to running your workflows, because Pokee does an amazing job at prompting you to grant any necessary permissions. And in this example, the workflow needs access to my LinkedIn account to publish the post on my behalf. And you'll see a pop-up asking you to connect with LinkedIn. And once you click connect with LinkedIn, the secure login window opens where you could sign in and authorize Pokee to create, modify, and publish LinkedIn posts for you. Then after you've logged in and granted access, the connection status updates to connected, and from here, Pokee automatically begins running the workflow using your current setup and begins executing each task in order. And you'll see the first task light up showing that Pokee has started to extract the video ID from the provided YouTube video URL. And then once that step is complete, you'll see a green check mark appear indicating that Pokee successfully finished that task. Next, Pokee moves on to the next step. And this process will take a few minutes, so just sit tight while it does its thing, but you can monitor its progress down towards the bottom of the screen with this progress bar. And then as each step and task is completed, you'll see it light up with a green check mark, confirming that it's been successfully completed. Next, Pokee moves to publishing the posts on the social media networks within the workflow. However, since we have the required approval setting enabled, you'll be required to approve each post before publishing. It's a great way to confirm that everything looks exactly how you want it to before the automation finishes running and publishes the content online. And so far so good. This post looks great, but if you want to make changes, you can communicate that here to instruct Pokee on how to tailor the task if needed. You can also click the blue Regenerate Inputs button to completely regenerate the task if you'd like, but I'm happy with this result, so I'll approve it. So go ahead and click the Approve and Continue button, and this allows Pokee to continue publishing the post and working through the automation. And this takes a few seconds to process, so I'll fast forward a bit for the sake of time, but since I'm also having Pokee publish on X, I'll be required to do the same thing for that post and manually approve it here by clicking the Approve and Continue button. And again, this took about a minute or so to process, but for the sake of time, I'm going to fast forward really quick. Then once the workflow is finished, Pokee automatically displays your results in a clean, easy to read summary. You'll see a confirmation at the bottom of the screen showing that the workflow has successfully completed, along with the workflow results section that includes direct links to each public post. And in this case, Pokee generated and published 2 posts, one for LinkedIn and one for X, each tailored to fit the platform's audience and style. And you could click the provided URLs to view them instantly. So let's check out the LinkedIn post. And then when I click on that link, it takes us to LinkedIn where we see the post, and it features a professional tone summarizing the YouTube video, complete with relevant hashtags and a direct link to the video itself. The formatting looks polished and ready for engagement, just as if I had written it and posted it manually. All right, then back at Pokee, let's visit the X link. And this post takes a slightly different tone to fit the platform style. It's short, engaging, and visually anchored with a YouTube thumbnail preview. And the workflow automatically pulled the video link again, added hashtags, and published it to the X account within seconds. And what's really impressive is that Pokee handled every part of this, from analyzing the YouTube video and drafting both posts to publishing them simultaneously across platforms. And the end result was a cohesive multi-platform promotion that saved me hours of manual work while keeping this content consistent and on brand. Then one of the most powerful features of Pokee is that we can build a reproducible workflow directly within this current setup. This means you don't have to start from scratch every time you want to create a new automation. All of the structure, the input fields, steps, and publishing actions are already in place. So if you want to promote a different YouTube video, for example, open the workflow inputs, and that opens up the input fields. And within the YouTube video URL field, simply swap out that URL with a different YouTube video URL. That's it. And then all you do from here is click the Run button, and these posts will automatically be generated, reviewed, and published to both platforms in just a few clicks. Now, I'm obviously speeding through this for the sake of time, but the workflow process is the exact same as before. Once the steps and tasks are complete, it'll take us to the post approval screen, where you'll review and approve or regenerate if you're not happy with the results. But either way, this reproducible workflow turns what would normally be a repetitive manual process into a streamlined, repeatable system that's fast, efficient, and scalable, perfect for anyone consistently sharing fresh content online. Then once the workflow is finished, we get this success message along with the URLs to the posts on both LinkedIn and X. And when we visit them, you'll see that we get a professional and well-formatted post that now displays in links to a different YouTube video. Then let's double check the X post. And when we visit the published URL, The X post has been successfully published, and just like the LinkedIn post, it looks well formatted and is directing traffic to the other YouTube video. All right, moving on. Next, let's take a look at some of the other amazing tasks that Pokee AI can help you accomplish. Next, I want to show you one of the easiest ways to get started with Pokee, using its pre-made workflow templates. These templates are a huge time saver because they're already built with the logic, steps, and integrations that you need. Instead of starting from scratch or manually setting up every automation, you could simply select a template, fill in a few details, and start running powerful workflows in minutes. And for this example, I'll be using a pre-made workflow that automatically triages all of my emails, categorizes them by priority, and sends a summarized report directly to Slack. This is incredibly useful if you get a high volume of emails every day, but you don't have time to sift through each one. It gives you a quick, organized overview of what's most important right where your team communicates. So, to get started, on the main Pokee dashboard, under the section that says, "What do you want to delegate today?" you'll see a series of cards representing different automations. From here, I'll click on the Triage All Emails for prioritization and report on Slack. Pokee will then begin loading the template, which takes a few seconds, and then once it's ready, on the right-hand side, you'll see a section labeled Workflow Inputs. Again, this is where you'll enter the basic information Pokee needs to personalize the workflow for you. And there are 3 fields for this one: your Gmail address, the Slack channel that you want the summary posted to, and the time period you'd like the review to cover. And for this example, I'll enter my Gmail address, and then my Slack channel is emails. And for the Slack channel, remember to put a hashtag before it, and then I'm going to set the time period to this month. You can also use phrases like this week or specific dates. Pokee understands natural language, which makes this setup really flexible. All right, then below that, Pokee outlines each step of the process so you can see exactly what it's going to do. And it'll start by reading emails from the specified time period and then categorize them into high, medium, and ignore priority tiers. And after that, it generates a summary based on those categories and posts a report directly to your chosen Slack channel. Then at the bottom, under Workflow Results, you'll see what the final output will include. And it's a Slack message link, which gives you direct access to summary messages once it's posted in Slack. And then once everything looks good, I'll leave the Require Approval toggle on and click either one of the Run buttons to execute the workflow. And Pokee will now take care of the entire process automatically. And then since we're using some new applications, Pokee will ask for a few permissions to connect with the necessary services. Since this workflow needs access to both Gmail and Slack, you'll see a window titled Required Permissions. And here I'll start by clicking Connect with Google. And this opens a standard Google sign-in window where I'll choose the account I want Pokee to access. And then I'll review the permissions and click Continue to confirm access. And again, this allows Pokee to securely read my emails for the specified time period, but nothing more. It's limited to exactly what the workflow needs. And then once Gmail is connected, you'll see a green check mark beside it. And then next I'll connect my Slack by clicking Connect with Slack. And a new window will appear asking me to enter my workspace URL. And in this case, it's blogwithin.slack.com. And then I'll click Continue. And Pokee then requests authorization to post the summarized report directly into the workspace channel. And then once that's approved, the workflow will begin processing. Then, just like before, this takes a few moments to finish, but you can monitor the progress of each step along with the progress bar towards the bottom of the screen. And I am obviously fast forwarding for the sake of time, but once this is done, you'll see a message at the bottom of the screen confirming the workflow is finished with a green check mark. Then, under Workflow Results, Pokee provides us a Slack message link, and clicking this link takes you straight to the Slack post containing your summarized email report. And check that out, Pokee has created a prioritized overview of my inbox and generated a report for me to review right here in my emails Slack channel. And as you can see, the workflow automatically separated my messages into clear priority groups, starting with high priority emails at the top, followed by medium priority ones below. And each message includes the sender's name, the date, a short summary, and any action items that require my attention. This makes it really easy to see what needs to be done first without having to dig through my entire inbox. And what's great about this setup is that it keeps all of my most important communication organized in one place. I can stay focused on the tasks that matter the most while still having visibility into everything else. And since the summary is posted right here in Slack, I can quickly check updates, share messages with my team, or mark off completed action items without switching back and forth between tools. Overall, this workflow helps streamline email management by combining automation, prioritization, and collaboration into one smooth process. All right, that's going to do it for this video. While we focused on social media posts, email triage, and Slack reporting in this video, Pokee can do a whole lot more. You can use it to manage deep research tasks by pulling information from multiple sources and compiling it into summaries or reports. It can even help with creative work like generating images and videos, managing daily tasks, and producing documents or slide decks automatically from your existing data. And as you saw in the tutorial, once your workflows are set up, Pokee handles everything in the background by drafting, organizing, and delivering your results without you needing to lift a finger. It's like having a full-time assistant that helps you stay productive, creative, and on top of your priorities. And if you'd like to try Pokee AI for yourself, check out the link in the video description below, and that'll take you straight to their website where you can explore more templates, connect your favorite apps, and start building your own automations today. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more tutorials just like this. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. So that's going to do it for this video. If you found it helpful, I'd greatly appreciate it if you would like, comment, share, and subscribe to the Blog with Ben YouTube channel. Also, if you're looking to start a blog, check out these 2 videos on how to build, grow, and monetize a WordPress blog. They'll walk you through the entire process step by step. And as always, your support means a great deal to me and my family, and for that, I thank you. So with that being said, I'll see you in the next video, and thanks for watching.